All right, everyone. I hope everyone's cell phones are silenced and watches are silenced. And, I'd like to. Well, I'll wait for everyone.
The phone, pardon me. It's screwed up.
She was 5 minutes behind.
Oh,
Hey, Chris. I'd like to call to order the Wednesday, March 27th, 2024 Townsend Conservation Commission meeting at 7:03 p.m. Have a roll call, please.
James Duran present.
Autumn Buck, present.
James Gates.
Kevin Smith.
Pat Gemolo.
Will everyone stand as Kevin leads us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag, of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Announce. Right, this meeting is being recorded. Chairman's additions and or deletions. Do not have anything at this time that we don't need to add. Chair report, everything.
Can you just please delete the approval of the meeting minutes for 3/13/2024?
We are going to push the review and approve meeting minutes from 3/13/24 to our next meeting, which is April 10th at 7 p.m.
They want printed out.
Weren't completed yet.
Okay.
We also have those executives. It's a separate one. If you didn't know. Agent 1.7, agent's report.
What do you got for it, Kevin?
All right, well, this covers March 14th to March 27th. We had a building permit sign off from Conscom's jurisdiction for 16 Todd Drive and 22 Main Street. No wetlands were found at those sites. We have a building Board of Health interdepartmental signatures for septic repairs at 65 Adams Road. Upcoming applications, we have RDA was submitted for 25 Worcester, and we had an RDA submitted for 42 West Meadow.
4222.
42 and 22 West Meadow. Some miscellaneous things. We have trail markers quote is going to be sent over next week sometime from MassCore. So I chose to use for that. And then violations. We issued $100 fine to 112 West Meadow Road. And that was discussed in the last meeting, the failure of the silt fence. And then I also sent a letter to 53 Ash Street. And that's concerning trash and debris. It's a possible conservation land use violation. So that's trash and debris and possible ATV use on conservation land behind 53 Ash Street.
53 Ash?
Yep.
What about Haynes Road?
That's that piece
Haynes
in
Road, that's
where the water thing with the little loading field was, is that?
Say again?
Ash Street for 1 second. Oh, is that the piece in there where the little athletic field is in the back or down across from where oh my God, where the water department is?
The pump station?
Yeah,
Which is
across the other way. What's that address? It's right around.
I don't
the
think it's
thing.
Ash.
Yeah.
It's not
I'm
Ash.
quite sure, but this conservation land, you cannot access, you have to,
One of those
yeah,
One of those little
Closed out?
yeah, it's closed out, so,
All right.
I
I know,
had
I think
to
I- I think
contact a homeowner and
Yeah.
access it through their backyard
I know
to
the
see
piece now. I got a general, yeah. I'm
and
with
assess
that.
what was going
Mhm.
on
And
there,
then
so.
if I recall, that's relatively small, right?
Mhm, yeah.
You have the
It's
pictures that you could share?
Yeah,
what, of the ATV? Is it?
No, the trash.
I'm seeing that more and more often. The seclusion areas are getting junk dumped out.
Well, yeah, people are encroaching.
How are they
That's one
going
of the
across the
things-
road?
Couple mattresses on West Meadow in the entrance to Steve's. A dump truck load of children's toys, clothing, a dual wheel dump truck load of stuff. So he went out, already picked it up and cleared it. Noxie's got cameras out right now. We'll see what we see, but usually they won't come back after they pulled the stump like that. But it was
Probably should
half
close
a
that gate.
dumpster, half a
I
dumpster.
know that there's-
Should we close that gate?
There's no gate there.
Who took the gate?
It's right across from
It's,
Cravens.
it's up, it's the further
No, no.
out back where
No, across from your driveway.
it's
That-
closed.
It's closed?
It's all closed up. Nobody's been in there.
Oh,
Zero. But it's the other entry where Steve's doing the vegetables.
Yeah. That was true.
I couldn't believe it. A lot of,
A
and it
dump
was,
truck load of stuff.
it looked like a daycare.
Here's some pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, the
So,
red is the area in
it's
which the
happening out there.
trash has expanded onto Conscom land. Conscom land is where the red is.
so there's enough
These are, some-
trash where there's a dumpster needed, or is it just,
I'll let you decide. This is
Okay.
ATV tracks. The,
I can't see that.
yeah, oh,
Well, no,
Oh.
it's,
That looks like a channel, or is that,
yeah.
to me, that looks like a channel there. I don't know what it
okay.
is.
it might be,
Yeah,
Here's some of the trash looking from downhill, uphill towards the
Is it-
house.
trash where they camp, couldn't it? The people are hanging out there.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
boy, somebody's built some temporary,
is that a wooden structure out there too? Is that on a butters? That's obviously a butters, okay,
No, that's in their backyard. That's on their property.
okay.
But, the trash is kind of overflowing into conservation land. It's coming down the hill. You can kind of see in this
Wow.
next photo.
It's easy to see where that's coming from.
yeah.
I don't think that's random people going out there dumping. I think, send somebody a letter.
So the letter
she
was
did.
sent, yeah, for a possible violation.
But appreciation towards picking it up, though, mostly.
Well, it's $100 a day for violations on conservation land was.
It could be,
our
so,
bylaws.
so the letter read, that there's a possible violation for those two things, ATV use on Conscom land and the trash, and that we could issue fines if this is not remediated.
Was a notice of
I wonder
possible
if they-
violation. I sent.
they may not know where their back property line
So
is.
this is-
That's
yeah.
probably more what it
And you
is.
This is
gave
an
them-
opportunity
As far as
for
the trash goes,
without
Right.
issuing any fines.
Yeah.
But you gave them until,
I didn't put a deadline on there, but I will be
okay,
checking it. and
Common
reaching
sense
out.
deadline, please do it.
That's
Common
what-
sense.
If you prefer a deadline
And
on
the, and
things,
the,
I can.
and the ATV use, they may not have known where their property line is. It's not like they're a quarter of a
Right.
mile over it.
Right,
They're 50 feet over it.
And it's, I assume, non-posted as.
it's not.
No.
it's not,
It's not.
we haven't had the
So,
resources.
yeah, so they don't really, they may
Have a
possibly,
clue.
pretty good chance they don't have a clue where their back line is.
Yeah, I think moving forward, people need timelines. Otherwise, they could,
Some of these properties should be discussed as to what the worth of them is, holding on to them.
so part of
Opposed
that
to
has to do,
allowing somebody like
And I
that
have-
neighbor absorbing it to increase their footprint.
and we've talked about that, I remember were part of the conversation on the meetings. Part of those, or a lot of those lots are part of the open space requirements for the development. So there's really no way, unless it,
And that falls back into, we should think about a forestry plan for all properties of, in towns, like you said, for proper forestry management for the land that we
just
do
land
own in town.
management, even if it's a controlled burn for areas that are so
Whichever,
small that
whichever
you can't
turns
really
to
log.
be. You know,
There's a lot of wetlands on Conscom land also.
Yep.
So,
that's why we have the good land, right?
We ain't got much.
But the logging thing is a great way to generate revenue.
That is,
And to
absolutely.
take and keep the forests healthy. Moving on.
Anything else?
Thank you, Autumn.
sure.
Right. Is that chair's reports over?
Yep.
That was nice, thank you.
Sure.
Autumn gave it before. Yeah, 3 minutes. I'm not, there's nothing else that we really can squeeze them before that. So what we're gonna do is we're going to discuss, 2.1, 7:15 appointment, 7:13. By the time I'm done talking, it will be 7:15. Notice of intent, TWB 2024-166, PEP 308-0706. This is going to be in conjunction with 4.1, with the letter from the Historic Society. There's so much to follow through with all of this. So the location, 65 Main Street, Chris McKenzie with Dillis and Roy is representing. Project status, the proposed project is for installation of septic system, tight tank, and building addition with associated site grading. Work is proposed within 100 feet of resource areas and within 35-foot vegetated buffer. Also, the proposed tight tank is proposed less than 10 feet from the 100-year flood hazard zone. And there is a 35-foot waiver associated with this, right, Chris? So we have to vote on that separately.
A waiver for the 35 foot
Yes.
no disturb?
Yes.
Did that just
Evening,
come,
sir.
did that just come out?
We just never got to that.
We never got to it. I'm sorry, Chris, we never got to that.
Yeah, no, well, the tank hasn't moved from the original. The tank is, the tight tank that we're proposing is kind of shoehorned in there with the best offsets from everything that we could get. There's an existing water line on the other side of the tank, so we're required to maintain 10 feet from that. I think that's what we have.
So Chris, so there has been a change in the applicant.
Yes.
If you don't mind just explaining it in the open meeting?
Sure. We've been working with the Townsend Historical Society, as you know, with the church up the street. When they hired us, we were hired to do both jobs. We proceeded with the fire station with the same applicant name and everything. The plan went through a few renditions. Many people saw the plan. Nobody really caught the fact that the Townsend Historical Society was not supposed to be the applicant. They are associated with the project, but they were not supposed to be the applicant. The Townsend Fire EMS Relief Association was intended to be the applicant. After some discussion with Jessica and some others, the decision was made yesterday morning to change the applicant name on the notice of intent and on the plan, which we have done. I emailed those documents to Autumn and Jessica this morning. I have not been able to make hard copies. I had a day playing out in the mud today. It's all I could do to get home, get cleaned up, and get here in time. So I didn't have a chance to make any hard copies to bring with me tonight, but she does have PDFs of everything. And again, the plan hasn't changed from the last rendition that you do have hard copies of. We just changed the applicant name.
Does the hard application, the signature for the applicant look better than it does on the scan?
Yeah, it actually,
It's there, Jimmy, but it's just so,
Here, do you want to see it on the computer computer version?
yeah, I actually have a version that's a little better, but it doesn't
What was
have
it,
the
whited
town's
out? There
signature
was-
on it yet. Well, I'm emailing these to these people. They're printing them out. They're signing them, they're scanning them, and
Scanning
sending them back.
All
So
right,
by the
so-
time it happens a couple of times, it
Turns into kind of a hot
you have enough
mess.
signatures to take a
I
line.
can
Okay, that's fine.
share.
You don't,
No, I don't
The
think, I get the
property
general idea how that
Oh, is
gets.
this the signature?
ESS
That right there?
is what it is. I remember right.
That's what?
It's just 3 letters.
Okay, should I screen share it and then
No.
Yeah, that's it right there. Yeah, that's it.
up here?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay, we should screen share and, right?
Yeah,
zoom in and something.
Yeah.
so that's gonna have to go around again for,
Well,
So
no,
whose
it's gone
signature-
around.
whose
He just has to
signature is
combine it
that?
all.
Eric
Okay.
That's
Fellows.
Robert Eric Slagle.
Okay.
Sorry.
No,
which is
that's
the
okay.
town manager, right?
As the town clerk, Kathy is
No, the,
answering.
I thought the above,
Yeah, no.
oh,
this
the
is
above line, the
applicant.
applicant.
It's just the visibility. I know it gets signed. I'm not trying to.
Right. It's there.
There it is.
Oh,
It's
okay.
there.
No, so the applicant is David Stevens.
Well, he's the president.
Of
Yeah,
EMS,
Yeah, of
He's
EMS,
the
yeah.
authority.
right. For
Eric
the
Phelps, I
EMS,
believe, he
Or
told
is
me
it
he was
Eric?
the treasurer,
Okay.
and that's who signed it.
So is this right here, that top line is the signature?
Yes, right there. yeah.
Okay,
It's basically just 3 letters,
okay.
it looked like to me.
And that's David Stevens.
No, it's Eric. Or is it Eric?
No,
that's
Eric
not-
is the second line. This is.
No, no,
no.
Eric Slagle.
This is Eric,
There's
The
several
town
Erics.
administrator.
Yeah.
Is the second one.
Oh, a
And,
different Eric.
Yes,
Oh,
it's
sorry.
okay.
Okay,
kinda no time to be confused on
Yeah,
this.
no, there is no confusion, but there's confusion amongst us, which is just a misunderstanding.
Yeah.
okay.
We're good. There's no,
I think. we should be
Okay.
with
everything
this.
has been squared away.
I worked real hard to make
I
sure
know.
that the right people sign the right line.
Because you
Yeah.
know that's why.
It's
we
already,
do it.
I've already had that mistake happen, so I made sure that
All right,
each one knew.
let's not, let us not have history repeat
No, no,
itself.
no,
Okay, okay.
I just try
Out
to
of all of
zoom in
this,
more and.
you know why we have to be
Let's
very
just
alert.
check
to
Lost a
it.
that.
lot of- lost a lot of time.
All
right, so the
app-
So
Let's
Yeah.
just move it.
We're good.
is
move it
there
forwards.
anything else that you changed something or the narrative for the or the details for the dewatering?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was done prior to the last meeting, yeah, I changed it to say that no dewatering would be allowed. However, if it became necessary, they had to go and get a state
Okay.
approval for that,
Because we would be draining into the,
basin in the street. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only change that we talked about changing.
and that was
Outside
all
of
set
the-
last week.
Right, but he still had to make the change.
One heck go to water and water, so get rid of that.
so,
We were practicing.
yeah, so there was a line that was in here, in this area that was removed, and
Oh,
then the 100-year flood zone has been updated, and you can see 272 is different from
So
before.
we removed the mystery line,
Yes.
which was
I
a
still-
little bit of where that came from. We leave that be.
The mystery line.
My quick question is, I noticed that there's a proposed gas service. Now, that's not proposed for this project. That's just in the future noted.
No, I was told that they were, I believe that's gonna be the heat system, is gonna be gas.
That's not,
I guess so.
you know.
I was told, I was
honestly,
asked to put a gas line on there,
Well, it's not in the narrative.
and I know,
Doesn't need to be. That's an exempt activity.
Oh,
That's-
interesting.
yeah,
Utility
that's-
work is exempt.
Yeah, utility,
Yeah.
that's
It would
exempt.
fall
You
into
still have to
an
note it.
exempt activity because it's gonna be afterwards.
No, it's all,
Scheduled
because
in.
it's because it's a utility.
It's a utility, it's
Right,
like
which is separate.
underwater
Well,
gas,
I think it's-
gas, water.
This is
Oh.
patiently waiting to answer the,
for all intents and purposes, that's a replacement of the gas line that was
It's
there.
existing.
You see
All
our
right.
test hole right there,
All right, then.
1023-3, we hit the old line when we were digging, and we had to have the gas company come out and confirm that it was a dead line. So we're more or less replacing.
So you're replacing an existing, you're replacing an existing gas line.
That's where,
but even then,
it's gonna be a
there's that.
replacement of existing infrastructure.
Moot
I
point,
would
moot point.
suggest it be
Hold on.
included in the narrative for work on the site.
Doesn't need to be.
Doesn't need to be.
No,
Okay.
nope.
It does
Existing.
need, it does need, well, yeah, there's the pre-existing factor. And it does need to be outlined on the plan, which it's done.
Right.
And it's following the same path. So
Yeah.
you're not changing, what they're gonna do is they're gonna hook a Chinese finger trap, most likely,
Mhm.
on
Yeah.
one side and pull it.
Yeah,
Or they're gonna dig it in minimal disturbance, less disturbance than what's there.
Oh, no
What's gonna
no
happen.
trench needed or
It
anything?
Depends on how they feel that day.
Okay.
It depends on the conditions they may.
So I
Dig it or
think
may
any
not.
ground disturbing activity should be
Minimal.
mentioned in the write-up for the application. My recommendation.
Well, there's site work associated with the project that is
Yeah.
fairly extensive. I
So I'm gonna-
think this would fall
I wanna
under
put
that
it-
category.
Autumn, your comment is noted. And, I think there, several of us don't agree, but
Yeah.
it's noted.
it's existing. It's gonna be,
replaced,
we're
yep.
gonna be putting gas in. It's all
You're
set.
not
It's
getting any closer to
marked,
the water,
it's defined, no worries.
but her comments noted and,
Correct, absolutely.
Thank you, young lady.
what else? Did you have anything else that you saw? Yeah,
I'm still, the signature issue, but we're good. I mean, that's all set. Let's move forward with this.
It's there, it's duly noted.
And it's recorded.
so we're gonna open it up to public comment. Kathy,
So if the.
do you mind introducing,
Oh,
you know the process better than me.
Kathy
Come on,
Scott,
Kathy.
312 Main Street, I'm a member of the Historical Society.
That's better.
Board of Directors. So is that paperwork going to the state? With the change, will they accept it with that signature barely there?
Oh, yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. They won't. Yeah.
No,
As long as it's on there.
okay.
Brave man.
Something's there.
Part of it comes back to when we write our order of conditions and it is, the applicant is noted. That is one of the bigger legal documents in the whole thing.
Okay. All
Because that
right.
gets recorded with the registry of deeds
No
along
one
with
could
everything else.
No one ever can recognize my signature anyway, so what's the difference?
No, I understand
Chicken
that, but you
scratch.
can be able to see that in the signature.
I'm sure
No.
Chris will be,
It's kind of like-
You
and I
can't
just-
see that. It's not barely. We can't see that.
But
Let's
you
be
can
honest.
kind of see it.
I'm getting older. But
His copy, I think, is gonna be a little, well, his copy that's probably back in his office is a much
It's
better.
better
It's
defined.
been, it's been scanned and copied 365 times.
Right.
His copy has probably got 2 of the 3 letters pretty clearly designated on it, I would think.
The first copy I got with his signature on it was fairly good,
Yeah, there you go.
but I didn't have the town signature on it yet, so I.
But you
sent it
got
to the town,
your-
then when I came back from the town, it was hardly readable.
Okay.
I just don't want it to get kicked back from the state for something that simple.
I don't think
You
it should be, it will
It's
be.
nice that it's being changed and we're removed from
No,
it.
it shouldn't.
Okay, thank you.
I'll go back.
I'm
to
sure
my
they're
previous-
watching, they're waiting for it anyways there,
So
so.
we were in here before, but I've been doing notice of intents for a long time, and for 30 years, I signed him as agent, and only in the last couple of years has it
Changed.
been an issue,
Yeah.
and requiring us to.
Everything's changing.
He used to sign in all the spots.
I signed all three.
Yeah,
I signed all three.
Yeah.
That was standard procedure.
that's part of
Never
the
was,
package.
never was
You're the-
questioned.
We never
You're the
did it,
rep,
Jim.
you
I
sign
always
it.
did.
We had,
Back
we
in the
had
old days when we had to do
Stanley
it all
do
by
it.
hand.
Yep.
I would
He
sign
probably,
it.
he probably signed
CC
it.
him out
Yeah.
and it's done.
So do we have any other comments, questions?
We love to hear things from the audience. Wow, it's a quiet group over here tonight. I thought we were gonna
We
get
have
a
3
little more
openings.
You
active.
know what? This is.
Yeah.
Rick is here to make
We-
sure you do the right.
We love you.
I've heard that before.
I get a little
growing up.
scared, when you get.
Right?
People here right there, they're right behind you, you know, they're gonna.
So-
Sure, you kids are doing the right thing. It's good to have
And we
a,
certainly wanna try to do that.
What is your recommendation? Kevin, we gotta reel this in so we can,
Okay, so in the binder is the special conditions that we came up with, which read, if dewatering is required, it shall be discharged lawfully.
fine, it
Was a
doesn't
special condition,
change.
Beautiful.
no,
I like that terminology.
Thank you.
lawfully or it
No,
doesn't
lawfully.
change.
No, I like that terminology.
I-
Lawfully.
I've
Don't
always
put it in a water
appreciated
truck.
it myself.
You can do several things with it, you're not pumping it into the
Right.
street catch basin.
Is this it?
Yep,
We are
And
conducting
attachment.
ourselves in the
which is our.
parameters of our, right. Yeah.
So. Someone, oh boy.
How do you want the motion to go? Yeah,
I make a motion to approve, the project for 65 Main Street, notice of intent, TWB 2024-166, DEP 308-0706. with special conditions to include if the dewatering is required, applicant shall discharge lawfully, in addition to attachment A.
Issues.
With a standard order of conditions. Do we have a second?
Second,
I'll second. I'm fine, but so moved on the motion. You've got to have somebody in that
Yeah,
regard, so.
so this is Jimmy's motion now. I just read it for him.
got it.
Kevin
So Kevin
second,
Yep.
Discussion. Roll call vote, please.
James Cronin approve.
James Gates abstained.
Kevin Smith approved.
Pat General approved.
Okay,
Now we need to make a motion to waive the 35-foot buffer, or the 35-foot no
no
disturb
disturb.
vegetated buffer. Yeah, no disturb, for this project.
Yeah.
at
You want to
65
run
Main
with that
Street.
one, Kevin?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to waive the 35-foot vegetated wetlands buffer at 65 Main Street. Pursuant to the notice of intent TWB 2024-166 with a DEP number of 308-0706.
Says 35 foot.
35 foot.
They did.
Yeah, you did.
All right, I just want to make sure.
Do we
I
have a
didn't hear it.
second?
Second,
Roll call vote.
James Cronin approve.
James Gates abstained.
Kevin Smith approved.
Pat General approved.
So now we need a motion and a second to close the hearing for TWB 2024-166 DEP number 308-0706, 65 Main Street.
So moved.
We have a second.
Second,
James Cronin approve.
James Gates abstained.
Kevin Smith approved.
Pat General approved.
It's over. Nice job. Wasn't it beautiful?
Didn't hurt a bit.
Yes, sir.
Can I just take a moment to thank?
Just introduce, Bill, you know the spiel, you've done this.
I'd just like to take a moment to thank both Jessica and Autumn helping us get this sorted out. Really appreciate it.
And it is, I mean, it's good now. We know where it's going. You know, it's not with the Historical Society. They've signed off on it. It's gonna go to, David Stevens, President Fire EMS.
We appreciate everyone's work in this room for
Right.
this project, because it's important to this town.
It is, absolutely.
You have copies for for us to sign?
Yeah,
tonight?
yeah, there's all four in there.
And I assume these were all CC'd out to all the different boards.
The letters? They were marked as received, you have to ask her even, she's the.
All right, I'm just wondering if all the other boards got them, so everybody knows where it is. As far
That's
as
something we
No,
can
so-
discuss, that's something I think we need to discuss.
Yeah. Later.
inner,
Yep.
thanks, Cal.
Like that.
Oh, does anybody have a pen I can borrow? You know, I left my
You
pen.
should become a little bit more prepared.
I know, I should be a little.
Give me my pen back.
Yes, I brought an extra.
There you go, it's right
Can
here.
I sign with, can I sign with my?
No, we have
pencil?
to, Autumn takes care of us.
Mrs. Bartlett to the rescue. Nice job.
Thank you.
Nice. Right?
Thank you, folks.
You wanna just,
Thank you and have a good evening.
you wanna
Thank you,
hang out
sir.
with us for the rest of the meeting, seeing as though it's going so
Oh,
smooth?
no.
This
isn't time.
Go over to the supper table.
Where
Going,
were
hey,
you?
going over to the supper table?
Shirley?
Shirley on Great Road.
And it is muddy. Mud season came back with a vengeance.
Very wet site too.
Is it?
So just deep.
Oh, wow.
You go fast, you gonna fast around?
Knees down.
They don't pay you enough for
Covered in
that.
mud.
At least the ticks are out.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah, they
I
are.
said
Good.
Had one in my backyard the other day.
They're good.
They're
We're
out. I
up there
was
in the
just
vineyard.
being smart. Yep, they're.
All right, see you guys. Have a good rest of the
All right,
night.
see you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Chris.
Chris.
Take care. For all
Pleasure
your
doing business with
patience.
you.
See, that was. All of a sudden, it's crowd's gone and it's quiet.
I should have wrote abstain in front of your name. Somebody did, she did.
I can't spell it.
I can't either. I can't even write at the end of the day. I'm tired.
Hey, I can't spell multifloral.
Oh, gosh.
She looks at it and immediately does a spell check on my
Moving on.
RDA. I'm like,
No, we're not done story time.
you know,
I'm ready to go take a shower.
So 3.0, 25 Worcester Road, discussion with property owners regarding vegetation removal.
so he gets filled in as what, abstain?
Mhm.
Okay.
They're not present. 25, do you remember that?
I have photos.
25, just the other side of the railroad
I would
track?
like to share my
What do you
photos.
talk, 25 what?
And
Worcester
I'll-
Road,
We're
remember
on
we
Zoom. I
just-
don't know if you guys can hear us. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey,
Is someone here?
yes.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Sorry, John, we can't, from the screen in the room.
We
we're-
can't see.
For some reason,
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
I'm
set
really
up like
sorry.
it usually is.
Is this the individual from 25?
Yep,
Okay, hello.
How you doing?
I met your wife. Very nice person.
I'm here. How are you?
I'm Jim. I'm the one that spooked you a little, I think.
I think I ended up spooking you.
Actually, I didn't want to say it that way, though. We rolled up a little harsh or something, it seems. I don't know.
Oh, why was I?
Yeah, that was kind of embarrassing. I'm really sorry.
all right.
I'm trying to get them.
Well, I will screen share and we can check out some photos for Pat
I know,
and
really-
Kevin.
definitely embarrassed though.
I just want to see.
Thank you, Hartley.
Okay, I hope that fixes it.
Thank you, Hartley.
Thanks,
I was
Hartley.
messing around with it, but I shouldn't have.
We'll get to the bottom of it, Hartley.
That's okay.
I probably touched it, didn't want to supposed to. I don't
All
touch
right.
nothing. I eat them things.
Well, we're the one we kind of,
Okay.
All right, so this is a hard photo to see, so let me just scroll through. This is
Zoom in.
Yeah, I can try and zoom in.
Do you mind, have you pulled up the Mass GIS of this, of where the?
Yeah, I have photos of it.
Okay.
Where's the railroad? Pull up.
No, so this is
To the right.
25 Worcester Road.
right.
To the right, in the picture.
We're across the street from the river.
Right, correct. They're on the opposite
Yes.
side of the
They're-
spa.
In the rear of the.
Where's the
pro-
railroad bed?
Oh my God.
Oh,
It's like,
no,
way
you
down.
don't need to.
Right.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
All right, this is looking towards the back of the property and the right of the back right. So you can kind of see it's of this area. There's a large wetland in the rear of the property back here.
We could tell there was a amount of water into the back. She knew, she saw it.
I'm thinking she was that property back up to the golf course.
There's a big wetland in between their property and the
But
golf
they bought a
course.
piece of, they bought the house, you can give us the history, if, I don't wanna speak completely for you, John.
yeah,
You guys bought the property, you just trying to clean up all the trash and crap that everyone, that was left.
this is what we got from Bob Merchants next to us. In the log cabin, what are they, 23?
They're 27.
27. And basically
Okay, this one.
here, and the guy that lived next to us were car part enthusiasts and hoarders.
Oh.
So it was like bramble and like bittersweet that had overgrown like axles and tires and stuff. Yeah, there's a couple pieces of fences and stuff. So we had a tree come down during that snowstorm, the big one last year, and I kind of went out and looked at it, and I'm like, I'm trying not to swear, a bunch of crap out here.
The challenge, I know.
We had it surveyed, and I found out where the edge was. I was like, okay, well, let's try to clean this up. So I started cleaning, and then I'm like, I can't get this stuff out of the way without some sort of machine. So I traded work with a friend that was a site work guy, and he dropped the machine off to me, and then I basically just pushed the stuff out of the way so I could get all the crap out of there. It was like tires and pallets and cinder blocks. So still, if you look at my neighbor's yard, there's a pallet of cinder blocks still. So I don't know what they were doing with that. Gas tanks, basketballs, trash bags. There's still some stuff back there, but after I got the letter, I was like, I don't want to touch anything else because I don't know how far we can touch. So once we got the letter stopped, and basically we just wanted to plant flowers back there after for our neighbor 2 houses down around the corner has bees. He always gives us his honey and stuff. We're like, let's just try to, if we're gonna clean that up, let's make it beneficial. So just native pollinators and maybe some blueberry bushes. That's what we wanted to do, but that's stop. We don't want to.
I see nothing that they should slow down or stop doing. What they're doing is fine as a homeowner. They're clearing brush, they're clearing
Part of the question,
debris from back then.
okay, Autumn.
So there should be no problem with conservation.
Well,
So-
hold on.
May have a little-
We requested an RDA because they had
Why?
some work with them.
Oh, because of, the usual,
It
yeah.
it
You know how
wasn't-
I'm gonna respond to that. Everything turns into an RDA for a homeowner that wants to clean their property.
Well, no, the vegetation that was removed could be possibly a stormwater issue, and they're within
Could
a
be
wet,
possibly,
they're
maybe, but
with-
we're not sure.
that's just stormwater. They're in the wetland buffer zone. They're working within the wetland buffer.
Yeah, Jimmy, it's no different than others.
Yeah. Yeah,
But we're not
The-
saying
the-
they need an NOI, that benefit
I think they're
is obvious.
cleaning up a lot of debris that was there. I do know that. I do remember that site. That stuff been there since I was a little kid.
sure.
I'm not gonna mention the name of the person, but that was,
We all know.
my backyard is where the golf course is.
There's just as an aside, in that wetlands, you could see the tires and stuff sticking out still. Just
No,
Yeah, so any land disturbance that's within 100 feet of a wetland needs to come before the CONSCOM, as that's their jurisdiction, and they enforce both the Wetlands Protection Act
I-
and the Wetland Towns bylaw.
And you've had, I have to go through this because it's just for the formality. You have had this conversation with the homeowners,
Oh, yeah,
correct?
we've
Yes.
discussed
So,
this, they've submitted.
Part of the
their
question, part of the clarification that is needed, which I personally weigh that one way. But I think, Jimmy, you will, because you were on the sidewalk. We visited the property, it was a scheduled visit. This was prior to filing the RDA.
I know.
Part of their concerns, and you can correct me, John, if I'm wrong, but going back to the site and finding or seeing more stuff, which we don't go looking.
yeah,
No.
no. I think our worry was we didn't put any erosion, like to stop the erosion, because we weren't told to. So I mean, we've had more rain since then. So it's like, well, Zach, are we gonna be? You know what I mean? Like we don't want to.
John,
We don't
did you
want.
get my email about that?
Yeah, no. I know. I'm. That's all we're worried about, and then we're worried that like. That's why we didn't want anybody to come when we weren't here, so we could show you like exactly what we did. Because I don't know if.
No, we
Or did
wouldn't just show up.
Yeah.
No, I know.
So you haven't installed the straw wattles?
I didn't know where, based on that picture, where exactly we're supposed to put it. Like, I don't want to afraid now that we're gonna do something.
We wanted to have this meeting first to
Yeah.
talk about that before you come here. We're not saying don't come. We wanted to have this meeting first, which I thought was going to be actually 2 weeks ago, but so we're just waiting for this to do the
Okay.
next
We wanted, yeah,
to do so that this can be done because
Right.
and we're stressed about it too because like obviously the fine schedule, we were just trying to clean up, and
Fine.
I honestly,
No fines have been issued.
Yeah, no, there's
No
no,
fines have been issued. The only thing that was issued was,
you're cooperating,
Yeah.
is it, I say cooperating, like it's. Like the police are
No.
involved, but
The,
it's very common that we have people that work within a wetland buffer and have to file an RDA retroactively. That's common. I don't know why in this town people aren't as aware of the towns and wetland bylaws, but the CONSCOM isn't here to find people. We're here to work with them and have them do work that's not going to negatively affect the wetlands, as you guys know.
Educate. You've told
And
plenty of stories
educate.
like that, Jimmy, where you showed up and say,
You know,
yeah, you
it's
should be
not-
doing this.
It's not Vinton Pond in your backyard, so it may seem a little different, but it's just as sensitive of a wetland. And I know the people that were out there mentioned that you do have a wet area in the lot next to you and the rear of your property that we're worried about. So through this application, we can determine if that's the case, and a site visit.
Well, it's not for us to determine if it's what.
No, it's to determine if the work is within our jurisdiction as the Conservation Commission. And so therefore, it's not like, how should I say it?
To request for determination.
Yeah,
applicable.
Yeah, we're just trying to find out if, like, we're just deciding if the work is within our
It
jurisdiction or not.
requires a notice of
Yeah.
intent, which I don't think,
I don't,
they're removing invasives, it doesn't.
Yeah,
But
you
it
can
does
see
rely on RDA.
You can see the bittersweet hanging from the
A lot of bittersweet stuff like that?
Yeah, he's
Which are
saying,
invasive
John's
anyway?
talking now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing you can see is there's that nice, I think it's an oak in the middle. And there's like bittersweet just like hanging from that. That thing would have been like
In no time.
gone. And
Yeah.
there was a bunch like on the pines to our right. There's like, we have a little buffer between the neighbors. There's some stuff there that we wanted to take down so that didn't kill the pines, but we haven't touched any of that yet either. That's like, that's basically what it was back there. A lot of bittersweet and, what's that other one? The red one? The other invasive one?
Burning bush?
Yes. Yeah, there was like two big piles of it back there. That was like what was mostly, I don't know if you remember, but we were talking about where we wanted to fill. And
You can
There was,
clearly
like-
see a lot of bittersweet growing around that,
So if
those trees right there.
now that you say fill, if you are wanting to fill an area, that's going to require a notice of intent.
yeah, that's why we didn't, after we had a meeting with you, we just
Okay.
said we want to put back in that, like, it's almost like a, I don't know how to explain it, like a drop off,
It's
right?
like a huge drop off.
Because
It's gonna
ease it over.
We just wanted to kind of flatten it out a little bit, but we
Right.
didn't touch it. When you come here, you'll see like we didn't touch anything since then, so we just waiting.
Yeah. And I know it was like based on that Facebook post, and I think if you like read the thing I was asking some of the people around town, it was like 2 triaxles we were looking for, not like filling the whole thing in. We weren't looking for like a ton of fill. I just wanted to like ease over the part immediately. I was like, I don't know, how far is it from?
okay.
I don't know, not far though. Just like right behind the shed over towards our neighbor's lot. That was it.
We're not here to try to jam you up. You're talking to people that live this every day too, so it's,
Yeah, I mean, we'll do whatever we have to do. We just want to know where we have to put the straw wattles because we didn't want to like put them in the wrong spot and then.
If they haven't brought any material in yet, why are we making them put straw wattles in? Because they're clearing brush?
disturbed the whole.
Yeah, 'cause-
They
and
cleared all the brush out.
They ripped they
So-
ripped the stuff out by the roots. They got some disturbed
Yeah,
areas
they
by
did
the
it the right
looks of
way.
this.
You know,
So we're gonna make them put straw wattles in. Okay,
until it's stabilized.
all right.
Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah,
And you're not gonna,
We have no problem.
okay,
doing that. We don't know where.
Once it's seeded.
and you're gonna be bringing in several truckloads just
Nope,
to.
we're not going to do it.
Okay,
We
so
don't
you're
wanna-
not bringing any material in to smooth off any contours?
We don't even want to deal with that now. we don't want to deal with it now.
You just wanna get, so
Well, no,
basic, you just wanna get it seeded.
I disagree, hang
Jimmy,
on
go
a
ahead,
minute.
'cause-
I disagree because, once again, we've got a basic homeowner taking care of their property, and I'm hearing from them, well, we were afraid not to do this, we were really concerned about not do. I'm concerned that we overdo it with people doing the simplest things on their own property within minimal
Is
guidelines.
that it? Am I seeing that? That's just a small depression. And that's the area in
So
question.
the backyard, it gradually slopes.
Yeah, okay, now what am I looking at right
Very
there?
That,
minimal.
on the,
A pile
on
of
the
brush?
left, that's a brush pile, I believe, with a palette, the lighter
Yeah,
color is the
okay.
palette right
Now, is that a
there.
little depression in the ground right there that I'm
It's-
looking at?
Yeah, but that's not the wet area. The wet area is.
No, no,
it's
but
just
that's the
past
area they
edge of
wanna
the-
fill. Is that the area?
No, not there.
They put the two truckloads of fill in?
No, it's not.
If you, oh, sorry, see where, yeah, the mouse is right now? Over to the
Yeah.
right, like, right there. Basically, that's where we wanted to fill. Because there was like, no, not even that far, like basically at the bottom edge of the screen, over to
Yeah.
the right, there was like a
Uh-huh.
drop right there. That's
Yeah,
it.
there is like a
That's
little
getting in the
drop,
way.
yeah.
Jimmy, the biggest concern I see about not bringing in soil or loam, is it looks all sand. So to get
It is sandy, it's gonna be really loamy sand there,
Mhm.
for certain.
My concerns are I don't want to have to hear homeowners getting this concern about doing the simplest of applications in their backyards. I was there on the sidewalk. No, nothing any different than you would do in your own backyard. And
No,
now
they're
they
trying
need
to-
an NOI,
It sounds
They
like
need
in good
They did
faith.
an NDA.
No, they
It's
just
an
an
RDA,
RDA,
whichever.
just an RDA, but I think that would be the simple.
And bringing in loam would be an RDA, that wouldn't be an
Yeah.
NOI, 'cause you're just,
An RDA, Jimmy, I don't see it, I don't see too much here. I mean,
No.
they're looking at a truckload of loam to fill in some divots,
right.
and skim
well,
the area
yeah,
loam.
at least
contours,
you gotta be able to grow. My concern is being able to sustainably grow something back there.
Sure.
Correct, and if they got
You
rid
might
of all
not
that
need to bring in fill, you
invasives.
might need to bring in loam, but you make it work in that area,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mhm.
you gotta have the siltation barrier. to prevent any
I do
washing.
agree, so the small wattles would be
But-
probably more,
But you gotta have something for that.
Yeah, we have no problem doing the straw wattles. We just need to know where we just want to know where exactly to put them. Because I just don't want to put them, well, one, I don't want to.
That's an easy,
Very solid.
the perimeter of
the perimeter
Well,
of the
well-
excavated area, how's that sound?
Yeah, that's fine. Totally fine by us.
Go out there.
Jessica's.
And direct them.
coordinator.
They,
Yeah.
actually, they wanted to come and meet with us tonight because they didn't want Conscom to go out and do a site
Without
visit.
them.
Yeah, they wanted
I
to
don't
discuss
blame
it
them.
first, so
I don't
no,
blame them.
we haven't.
So the only other thing was, you said that there was a property map that needed to get completed where the boundaries
Oh,
of
the boundary of the buffer, yeah,
So with that said,
so. I'll
you've already
show-
done it.
This is a map, so. The
We weren't
homeowner
really-
needs to-
So I either we need to because not, a normal person or it doesn't know that about GIS, about pulling up the different layers to see the wetland buffers or
Mhm.
the habitat areas. In either providing them with something simple like you did, which probably took you, what, 3 minutes?
Yep,
It was helpful to
It's
the
helpful to
taxpayer.
them.
to
The
show the
resident.
elevation and
Yeah.
possible.
Well, they're not
wetland
gonna
area.
have it, you know,
I
know.
agree. I mean, I think that would be very helpful for a homeowner to be supplied with,
Well, not supply it, but.
not supply
Yeah, I
it,
don't
but.
Have it
I-
available, just have it available
So-
if they have issues, you know, you wanna try to help, you obviously wanna help the residents through it.
So
We're not
helping
here to
them-
smash them.
No, no,
But being able to provide, that's part of our regulations. It's a simple test to do that on. I'd like you to share that with them. And then they can mark it up if they feel the need to.
I can do that.
It's not something
It's
we
on the
need,
applicant to define
the work is.
where the work is and where the wetlands are in the vicinity of, like, where the work was done. So they need to know, did they work within the wetland buffer? Like, that's on the applicant. I'm not to go to their property and decide where the wetlands are. That's not even my
Yeah.
job. I'm not a wetland
Well, no,
delineator.
No,
They can hire someone to
Yeah.
delineate it for them if
And
they're not.
I
If they
want to
don't
correct you, it's not my job thing, but it's not.
We don't have the resources as Townsend to pay me to
We
do
don't
that.
have the legality of it all.
Yeah.
You can't. So at the same time, it's a simple. Okay, it's an RDA, flagging wetlands they're not gonna go any further than what's cleared.
see any problems here.
So-
They got rid of the invasives that they were trying to get rid of in the site.
Then why don't we all just schedule a site walk now that the snow's gone, we can just walk it quickly, it doesn't need to be a long drawn out thing,
I'm not going out for a second
you
sidewalk.
don't need to.
I'm just saying, this is a straightforward, simple situation, which once again, it just gets blown out of proportion. That's
So
all I'm
we can't
saying.
approve anything tonight because the legal ad hasn't been,
Legal ad, can't approve anything tonight.
Jimmy, what do you want me to do? I
I'm
can't-
just
Gotta follow the rules, Jim.
I
We do
am
our
not
rules.
sitting there saying we're not holding the line and not abiding by the rules, but I'm saying it becomes arduous for something as simple as this for a homeowner to proceed forward, cleaning some brush, and it's common sense where they're getting into the wetland areas. If your feet are wet, you seem to be in the wetland areas, you know?
I agree.
It just
I don't
becomes
disagree with you, Jim.
arduous. To me,
Just say
and I
one
feel
thing.
it-
Just sorry.
please,
When we cleared what we did, that wasn't wet like it was. We had like that 3-inch rainstorm the couple days
Yeah.
after I'm not defending if we were in the wetlands or not. Me personally, I didn't think it really went into the neighbor's yard. Obviously, I was wrong. I mean, I'm not saying I was right. I measured off our property line about 100 feet. Was that oak tree? And I had an idea it was.
You can go measure it and figure it
Oh,
out.
yes,
mhm.
yeah.
And make this easy for.
But in the same token, you learn,
It's common, it's just that is part of the, just help assisting
right.
residents, and this is where we're gonna
Well,
assist.
It's
But you
not.
learn from your property with that heavy rain, you see where the wetlands come up, you see where they recede
Right.
to. You're there more than we are, you see it more than we do. So you understand where the wetlands are, and you understand in a high water instant, it will raise and it'll lower. So a lot of this is just straightforward,
We
common
need to let him
sense.
talk. He keeps getting interrupted. I mean, he's trying to tell us some stuff, and
Excuse me?
he
Jimmy,
was,
I couldn't hear you.
I said, he's been trying to tell us some things, and he keeps getting interrupted with everyone talking, and then he has to stop talking.
All right, so why don't we discuss next steps moving forward? If we can schedule a site visit. If
What's the
that's,
legal ad schedule site visit?
legal ad's been posted.
Has it been,
We didn't get the payment thing yet.
Payment yet, it hasn't been made yet, but it's been
Okay.
sent over on their behalf, so.
What payment do they have to pay at this point in time?
they pay the newspaper directly, I think, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's the legal
Proof that-
ad.
Yeah,
It's not gonna
proof.
slow anything down
Yeah,
as long as
proof that it's been sent with a check.
So we can just figure out the process. So we'll put the straw wattles up on the edge of the work we did.
So we gotta schedule a site walk. So that we can, vote on this next meeting. Again, it gives the opportunity to the other two commissioners to see the site, as they were unavailable, for the initial walk. And then at the next meeting, we will, go through the special conditions, which will tell you, typically, we don't tell you where to put the straw wattles, but it's pretty cut and dry on this.
So I just worry about like the erosion until then.
Then I would straw wattle the perimeter of,
The
Here you are.
excavated area.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I don't want to.
Edge of the cleared area.
and make sure that it goes into a U shape, so you're gonna wanna come uphill a little
Yeah,
and make sure it's staked in, however, whatever spacing is recommended by the manufacturer.
okay, yeah.
And then you
We're not.
one
We're not.
step.
We're not trying to be difficult. We just didn't want to do something we weren't supposed to and then have that come back to bite us.
Nope,
Like
we
that we
won't,
did something wrong. We're trying to. We don't want to. I mean, you guys at our house. We're not trying to do anything to disturb the environment on purpose.
we,
we're trying to help.
John, we understand, and part of what we're trying to do is educate people, and it's of no fault of your own. It's something that we're trying to overcome.
Hmm.
So, you know, it's a lot of, this happens, this happens. It happens frequently. And we work through it with the homeowners. We're not trying to punish.
People are not knowing.
Yeah, that was our big concern. It was like, I mean, we looked up the fines and we were like, oh my, how are we gonna afford this? You know what I mean? Like that whole
No,
thing.
no.
That worried about.
We issue fines when there is, but it is,
The people
things are
deserving,
purposely
people are
neglected.
deserving of them.
Okay,
And they
that was just
neglect-
that's our big
neglect us.
stress because we're like, oh my god.
Relax, relax, my friend.
You know, it's not like you're going out back and putting a whole pond or anything in without
Oh.
a permit.
We wanted to clean up some trash. That's all.
We appreciate your help with clean up the town. I'm not being sarcastic.
I know.
Every little bit helps. So we understand what you're trying to do and we're for it.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for everything, guys. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Why?
Oh,
Next up.
are you joking?
Yes.
The letters.
Okay.
I want to duly note that there's no need for this. There was no need for this 25 Worcester Road. We went on a site walk, simple and straightforward situation. Now it's gone down to, we gotta put wattles in, no, don't.
No, we talked about.
Now they gotta put wattles in and they gotta go through a RDA and for cleaning their own backyard.
Some people across the way had to do the same thing, cut trees that they were endangered to the house, but they.
I know what I
because of the
saw, I know why I'm referring it to this way.
Duly,
These-
I want to put it
these
on the record
people
that
seem-
Jimmy's statement is noted.
They're concerned, they're uptight about it, and it's the process. The process should not affect homeowners like that.
The
I
process-
understand we're our responsibility in this, but I also understand that we should work with people and not allow it to get to this
So
point.
that's a noted point, because the process.
This was
should-
picked up on a whim.
Right. And that's why we're working, well, not because we want to work with everyone, but the process, I don't like, I feel for these people that they're anxious and that they're worried
We
about
have
it
to,
all.
we have to feel for them in
Because
that
you know
regard.
they're not the only ones.
My point being is I'm seeing a lot of other things going on in town that blinders are on. I'm not gonna say anything else. As long as you noted my
No,
point
I noted it
about
3
what I
times.
heard in
And
that client, that is not
It's
necessary.
all right, I'd like to move on. We can move on here. I'm trying to get to.
I don't want people to fear the commission.
Exactly.
We don't want anybody to
Exactly.
feel the commission.
They even mentioned a fine.
I think we both just made the same point differently, but both valid, so.
Yeah.
We're gonna move on. I'm gonna go home, and my kids are gonna say, you had a fight with Jimmy.
No.
We're too
Yeah,
old
but
to
we're
fight.
good.
You guys see and hear what I say and why I do.
Yeah. 4.2 removal at Vinton Pond, letter to commission. We have the resident here. Autumn, do you mind reading or why don't you give a background, and this is only in the correspondence, so we really aren't gonna be discussing it too much. It needs to get discussed further.
Yeah. This
We'll,
is just a note from the homeowner that wanted us to review this. Not review the work, but see what type of application is needed. And so I'll read what they sent to you all. Mike and Jane Potts request that some representatives of the Conservation Commission come to Vinton Pond to look at an area where we are requesting to remove some trees for the following reasons. The bank is very small, the cottage in quotes that we would like to replace was built in the 1950s when the trees were very small. At this time, the roots of the trees are growing near enough to the foundation of the building to possibly be threatening to the integrity of the foundation. So one quick note, at this site, they are looking to replace the cottage and do work on the foundation under an NOI. So this is just in reference to the 9 trees that are on their property and on the neighboring property that they'd like to have cut down. So moving on, the trees are close to electrical wires, and last fall a tree fell on wires on Vinton Pond Road and started a fire. Fortunately, someone was driving by and saw it, but a section of the woods was burned. Several tree branches overhang the cottage. If any one of the trees came
Jimmy?
down,
Let Autumn finish. Let her just finish.
Want me to read it? I wrote it.
yeah, sure. If you'd like to read it, you can. Do you mind coming up to the table?
Not,
Okay.
actually,
Jimmy, where is
I
that?
just explain the situation I've been in.
Sure.
All right,
I think we're all familiar with Vinton Pond.
so this is what I've been thinking,
We
Cindy.
might have swam in it once or twice over our lifetime, right, Jimmy?
I'm telling you.
So if this room is Vinton Pond, this floor is a pond. This is our cottage. It's tiny. Was a garage and they rehabbed it to make it into a living place. This is the amount of tree area that we're talking about. And that's because we're asking maybe a few trees, if not all. But there are some trees right here that are so close, we can't really take this down, and I'll tell you why we should take this down after. That we want to do a new foundation. So when Matt Meadows was out there, a few weeks ago, I asked him his impression. He said, if you say you'll leave the stumps, which we would happily leave the stumps, then they're mostly concerned with erosion. And there would be no erosion. So he felt it was good. So why this needs to be replaced is it was built in the 50s. Inside the upper ceiling is some kind of paper. The previous owner too, when we bought it, put in a new roof, but forgot to put vents in. So inside is now getting mildewy.
All
So
right.
we don't want to live in a place that's so unhealthy. So we decided, not that we want to do this, but that the only thing we can do that helps us and the environment is replace this building. If you come look at it, if you see this.
Whose old house is it that are you in Gloria's old house, Lindquist's?
Wilson,
Wilson,
Wilson's,
Tom Wilson, Kenny and Anna Wilson owned it, and then Tom got it.
they're on the pond side across.
I know
from-
right where they
Yeah.
are. I,
the only one on the shore. Well, there's, some of them are on the shore down here, but there are 2 that are garages. One is still a garage. Tom's, now was a garage, but was built down, well, 50 years ago because we had a wedding party in there. So that it's existed there that long. But when they tried to patch it up a few years ago, what they put on the outside is some kind of plasticky stuff.
Stucco kind of stuff.
okay,
That's
here we are.
crumbling off.
So this is the existing house. These are the trees you're
Yeah.
referring to.
Right.
How many did you say? 9?
Well, there's the banking is not, any of it is ours. It's all my cousins, but he's given us permission to do it.
Okay.
Say that again?
The banking is all his.
Her cousin.
Right.
The bank.
He probably, well, this is the banking.
You don't have any frontage
Now,
on the
that
lake?
house was
Like
not very
No, it's
long
just
ago
the way they did it.
redone, right?
Right.
Right.
Those like cottages, you know,
But, you see,
their postage stamps.
not only, well, wait until- not
Go ahead,
only
I'm sorry.
there's about 3 feet, 3.5 feet on either side, that's
Yeah.
our property.
Yeah,
So
this came before the board when I was on it a few years back. on the restoration of that and the rework on it.
But in addition to the mildew and the smell that's in there now, the foundation is block foundation.
Correct.
It's got some cracks in it.
Yeah.
You could roll a marble when you stand inside any of the floors, you're just walking downhill, so something has settled. We've got a laser just to verify.
I mean, it's old foundation,
Right.
it's old stone foundations, all of them like that. They were all saunas years ago when I was a kid growing up. I grew up on it. You know, my doctor across the street, Dr. Ross, my uncle, Carl Lindquist, Gloria, Mr. Klingenberg, I can go on and on. My cousin is at the far end, blah, blah, blah.
You know, we had family down the end too.
Yep, so we're all familiar with the pond
Yeah,
and
so
The-
21.
let me just say what I
Me too.
think is true. These few, even if we could take only 5 of the trees down,
Mhm.
then we can at least get the foundation in.
So you're gonna pour a whole, we're looking at a tear down
Right.
and a complete rebuild.
And
And we talked to the building inspector, he said if you stay totally on the footprint,
Mhm.
he'll let us do it.
Okay,
is that?
I was
okay.
waiting to hear that because,
He'll let our side still has to,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Okay.
we're in, so the trees, they're on the bank of Vinton Pond.
Yeah,
Okay, and so the tree that you're referencing is damaging your,
Up the sides, I
you would
take it.
have to remove those roots, so that means you're gonna remove the entire tree.
Correct.
well, if it doesn't grow anymore,
don't make
but with
it.
the building of a new house,
You're gonna have 5 feet, you gotta have 5 or 6 feet, ma'am.
well,
So, and,
that's
and.
why can you come look?
Oh, we're gonna have to do a
We'll
sidewalk.
certainly
Yeah,
come
but,
up and take a
We
look.
have to do a
So-
sidewalk.
Would you be able to include this work in your NOI that you're gonna have to do for the house replacement
not-
I
anyway?
would, I don't know why not?
it's starting the process when getting the trees down and then, yes, I agree with you there, but.
Do it all
seeing the
once,
trees
right?
Down,
But there's a degree of complication. You're removing trees that aren't on your property, so you need to go to another landowner to get the
Which-
permission to do the excavation.
but she
They already
has.
have.
But I'm just saying, there's some
Property
moving
owner
parts.
signature and then applicant signature. and
Right,
that
so
will
there's
have
some
to-
moving parts
Yeah,
to this too.
yes, but did you say you were cousins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
so
right, so it's a
yeah,
family
it's a
thing, I get
family
it.
thing, yeah.
Why, what is your concern?
It's a downward gradient, straight to the pond. Any excavation that's done there, I mean, you hit a small stone wall and you're in the water.
Yeah.
I mean, that pond will rise up where it'll take a quarter of the stone wall and that'll disappear. Our biggest concerns with anything on Benton Pond is tree removal and disturbing of any areas in
When
any
you
soil.
say-
in
It's
that
down
area.
slope with a,
But
with
when
a.
you say
with a
tree
wall.
removal, are you including or
She's
excluding
defining the
stumps?
tree removal. She's now would be in favor of just cutting the tree and leaving the stump. But Kevin and I both, no, you can't do that if you're gonna put in a new foundation.
Right, but that
So
would
there's
be,
gonna be
that
a-
would be a notice of
Well,
intent.
why
Correct.
can't you though? If we're gonna stay.
Well,
strictly
if
in
you-
the-
You gotta have room. to
You have to
It
have room
doesn't
to work.
work, it isn't,
Your foundation guys have gotta get down in that hole.
right.
If that foundation, say, is. if-
That's all
if it's
sand
from an
too, so
area
you're
that's
gonna
this
be.
wide,
Well,
Okay, let's say that this is the embankment, and this
Yeah.
is the side of your new house. You know, they've gotta sit here and form and pour a wall, and they're gonna be standing here like this, and they've gotta have a little bit of room to work, they have to have a little bit of space. And if there's a tree in the way, and the tree is so close to the foundation, that the existing foundation is being compromised at this point,
True.
you should might as well get rid of it. Because if you're gonna sever all the roots off from one side of the tree, right, to get the new foundation in,
Leaving the roots for you.
huh?
Leave the roots because we thought that's what you would like.
Well,
but when you.
to an
start to
extent,
dig,
that's great.
Whoever digs it's
Well,
gonna,
But the
We
roots
have
still
three
move
that-
and grow.
We have about 3 feet on each side. Yes, we'll have to go a couple of feet onto Larry's property, okay?
Mhm.
And if you look at the original picture, you can see some of those trees are close enough, they'd have to go. But the idea is that we would leave as much as we could for
You're just gonna have, I would usually,
But you're building a house.
yes,
At that
the
point-
contractor that's gonna have to use his best discretion, because some of those trees are probably gonna have to go. They might say, oh, we can save them, and then within the excavation, when you're digging, all of a sudden you start severing some some of the root system on half the
Right,
tree, and the
you're
tree
under
is
the
gonna
crown.
die.
If you're under the crown.
Yeah, and then the tree is done, it's just a matter of time.
But
And
nothing.
as well as the tree's gonna fall because it's got nothing to hold the tree back in place
So-
because it's been severed on one side. So the tree's gonna fall. It's
So we're
gonna
not,
fall on your
we're,
neighbor's
so
house.
none of us, Pat, do you have any thoughts before I speak?
No, but I know I had roots coming up from the ground where the trees were and stuff, and they've been gone for a long time, and now they're really coming up out of the ground. So I'd be worried that they would go towards the new house. On top of that, they may run into more problems down the
All I'll
road.
say is that blank canvas is better to work with, and especially on a postage stamp size lot like that.
Yeah.
But
Sidewalk, we gotta get out this.
I don't think, because this is under correspondence and not work session,
Yeah.
we've heard it, we
Supposed to come out, so that's all.
we accept your request,
Yeah,
and
we accept your invitation, young lady.
Autumn will be in touch to schedule something in the next week or so.
Yeah, oh yeah, I can see.
And it's not often we
It
find a
came-
client that's
It's-
more
Customer.
willing
Yeah.
to
Pay-
not
Resident.
move and stay very minimal. A lot of people go gangbusters and they're, oh, we're gonna dig it all
But it's
around
such a
here."
small property, and I hate to go through this bit of work and then have, oh, we have to take the rest out.
Right.
It just doesn't work.
'Cause
We don't want,
sometimes-
we want safety too.
Sometimes it can go to a Pandora's box, because if you dig out more root area, more trees, you're gonna loosen the soil, that's gonna cause disruption to the stone wall area, and it sometimes can
In
dominate,
regards,
so we gotta
in
take a
regards
good
to
look at it.
trees interfering with the power lines, you can call Unitil, the forester,
Mhm.
with
The
Unitil.
tree warden will come out with you.
Not the tree warden, the Unitil
But Unitil
forester.
brings their own tree
They
warden out.
They will,
That was just to maybe see one need, so we,
but look at where the trees are placed. If they if the power lines could be in jeopardy during a windstorm or ice storm or whatever, they will
Right.
come out, assess it,
That's
file
inherent
the proper
responsibility.
paperwork, take care of it.
Yeah.
well, it's more the houses.
No, I
Like our house.
but if it's overhanging electrical,
Well,
And they will, I've already had them come out in West
I don't
Meadow,
do it in my house.
they're on the way.
It's near the wire, if a tree
Allow
falls
them-
down, it would.
Allow them to come out and
Elise,
remove the trees on your
Lisa.
taxpayer dollar, opposed to you taking the responsibility to remove those trees. If they deem the trees have to be removed, let them do it on their dime. Don't pay the money to have
They
that
have to
sort of.
go through the same process.
Yes.
Oh,
If
absolutely.
you hire them, yeah.
Yeah.
And there's, in the Wetlands
Yes, ma'am.
Protection Act, there is,
yes.
due to the fact that it's a bank, there is restrictions on the
Yes.
percent of disturbance that can be done.
Mhm.
So.
But we can
we'll-
discuss
We would like
that.
to work with you and we'd like to review it in an NOI format, and we would like to come out now that they would do that
Cool.
Sure.
and see your site.
You should
We
know that,
usually, yeah,
needless to say, I'm sure, we care about the pond. So whatever we need to do to make sure that we're not doing something that's gonna be damaging to the pond, we will do it. It doesn't
I'm sure
matter what-
those all gals up there giving you a great history, the ones that walk all around.
Oh,
Yeah.
Elisa, you had a question or a statement?
I was
Mr. Struthers?
If you don't mind introducing yourself as,
Lisa Struthers, South Street.
have you filed out a volunteer form yet?
So recently, I had to have a tree removed from my property too, which is in a zone.
Sensitive area, the Harbor Pond.
And I called Unitil. So they came out pretty quickly and made a determination. They weren't gonna take it down, but if you call Unitil, they do come right out and assess the tree. My suggestion is that you call them back because they never called me back.
I had to call them back to find out what they were, but they will come out.
They're not a proactive group. I had, well,
But I just.
West
kept
Meadow
on.
Road's got a tree on the phone pole, laying on the wires. It's a three-phase change out. The tree's broken down on the tree, on the wire. I bring the guy, I brought the guy from Unitil out there. Oh, that's the phone company's tree.
Ugh.
I'm like, listen, do you guys not work together?
No.
There's a tree laying on the phone wire on the three-phase switch
They don't
off.
talk to each other when they show up.
No. I never saw
One waits
anything
for the
like
other
it,
to leave before they come out.
right? Couldn't believe it.
No,
Just call them back.
I-
Oh, I knew what to do. I made the next call. I got their attention.
so-
I'm good at that.
we will schedule a site visit for, Mitten Pond, the next week or so. And
I have to
we
do
can all
something.
take a look at it, so that.
Can I see that picture
Yeah,
again?
this is, a photo of the cottage.
Right,
So it goes
right.
right down to the water and then there's the trees on the
Got a brand new
side.
septic system.
What, who's beside them?
I think it
You
was,
On
guys
the
just did that a
Smith
couple years
side.
ago, right?
I think that was,
Heading towards Smith's.
Frustrating thing for us, I know it doesn't affect you at all, but hope I don't cry. We bought this 2 summers ago, well, and then it took a whole summer to put the septic system in. And then we started talking about this in September, and it's taken till here to not even get the first thing approved. And now we're talking about having to go through another big approval, which will make it go to the fall, which will make it another year. And we can't use it until it's done, so sorry.
Well, let's see if we can get out there and
Do
take
you
a
have
look
a
at it.
timeframe of when you're thinking of rebuilding?
As soon as we possibly can.
Next
Yeah.
week if you
I just
could.
would hate to see you, and it's totally up to you to make this decision. Most likely to take the trees out, most likely, pending a site visit and everything. You're gonna have to do minimum an RDA, and that you wouldn't be able to disturb anything.
Now, who does that?
Okay. You would pay an you could do it or an engineer.
Oh, yeah,
And if you're gonna, so at that point, if you're gonna build a house, you really want a clean lot, nothing on it, so you can start fresh, and those trees are probably past their prime, they're dangerous at this point.
they are, a lot of them are, sad to
Instead
say.
of seeing you spend money on getting the trees done,
Crane and something like that,
well,
you know.
instead of having to go through this twice, or do it concurrently and pay twice, we're trying to help you do it the most efficient way. Unfortunately, a lot of this stuff takes time. Yeah,
okay, let me just give you this other little piece of background that we have and for experience. Down the road, my daughter has a place. Same banking, same everything. But 4 to 5 years ago, Conservation Commission came out, took a look, said, sure, cut them down. We didn't go through anything. And now it's.
We explained why.
Yeah.
If there's a safety
I
issue
was on
to
the
the
board when she
trees,
came in,
so
the tree removal. I
so-
was on that, we approved it.
Yeah,
But
It was common sense.
with
and
that
they
said,
needed to
you
be
were the
removed.
only one on the commission at that time that is still here.
Mhm.
right.
So
Yeah, so I guess our expectations were that it was going to end. Now that banking is full of, leaves, growth. So it is stabilized better than tree stabilizers.
Oh, you mean your daughters?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you, as you drive up, if you just look down the very,
Jimmy, do you remember what the exact safety concerns were?
for the trees to be removed.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it had to do, she was trying to get a walkway down in there. And it was just about impossible to do anything with all the old trees and the root and
do you remember what it was under
to do the removal.
for that? for that project?
I think that we allowed it. We just allowed it without an idea.
Would have been a safety issue, maybe? The trees
It
were
was
But
unhealthy?
these,
Actually, they were dead.
The trees
so
were, yep.
these,
And we were up there with the forester, and the forester said to us, these trees are polluted. I can cut it, clean it, and do this and that. The ending will still come out. The tree is compromised, the tree is dead, it's
So
over.
Did they
these
leave
trees are
the
the same.
Mhm. So that's why I can't say anything till we go on the sidewalk.
Okay.
I mean, I think your daughter's in Mr. Parker's old house, Gloria's
No,
old
no,
house.
that's a different one,
The next one down?
yeah. It's Commanders.
Okay, okay. I know right where we are. We've got to do a site walk. We
Okay.
can't go too far on this until we
Okay.
all go up, see what it looks, see what, if the trees are climax and there's no life or worth left in them. And Kevin's right. If you're gonna go in there and do a
Take the
new
house down?
foundation,
Take the house down and then take the trees down.
Yeah, but I think those
And
trees are
everything
so
else.
big that,
It's hard to get out of the house.
Oh, they're gonna go right over in the neighbor's lot?
well, how do you?
I don't know, we can't really.
No, let's look at them.
that's what I keep saying.
Let's go, yeah.
Site walk. We gotta do a site
It's
walk.
easy.
All right.
So, yeah, let's,
I mean, I'd be glad to go out and see it tomorrow. I mean, if anyone's got time, I don't know what everybody's schedule is like. It doesn't matter. I'm retired. I have tons of time, so.
Where your rain go.
Yeah, there's gonna be what, but who cares? It doesn't, it's not rocket science.
Autumn can throw out some days.
Yeah. Would you like to be present? Do you live locally?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, it's encouraged.
I'll hear it.
Okay, then then we'll make sure it's a time when everyone can be there.
And then we can determine, because it could be a simple, you can take your trees and then
Yeah.
come back later for
Yeah.
the other part.
It
But in
came
the bigger
across my
picture,
desk
we're
as an
looking at
administrative approval, but I
a
felt
full rebuild
because it
here.
was in a zone that's very sensitive and
How,
that it should be
So-
included in the NY.
this is above and beyond. Are we good with this part? Okay, so I'm gonna ask.
Sidewalk, most important, so we can
the
get a feel.
thing on there.
Do you have a general contractor yet helping you guide through any of this?
No,
Just
one
when did it come
sure.
across?
We have, you know Steve
No,
Anderson?
oh, recently.
Kevin?
Anybody know Steve Anderson?
Westminster,
Lunenburg.
Lunenburg, I mean, I grew up in Lunenburg, that's right.
Well, when we first
No, no.
to put the septic system in,
Like, I feel.
it was a tight tank.
Yeah,
I've had this- I had that same issue. That's
Said-
why.
they
Oh,
said
okay. Oh,
You
interesting.
could go
Yeah,
either
let me
way.
know. including
He was the
NY,
only-
with the NY.
It was a cesspool.
Is what I
Cesspool.
just heard.
okay, that's where you, okay.
He was the only person who
Tell me after
came out.
this.
He has been a guide and a help the entire way. He is the person who could take it down. He's already looked at it. He's already figured out, he's got this
Okay.
little car that can go down the side.
Mhm, mhm.
And it would be minimal disruption, he said. So we have him, if that, we don't have anybody to build it.
Okay, no, I was just wondering if you had anybody to guide you through some of what
Oh,
you're gonna
guide
be
you through the process?
Because there's a lot to come still, you know,
Right.
to build a house.
But
And
in permitting wise, yes.
Yeah.
Which
that's
I think,
somewhat of an overwhelming process for people that are not acclimated and are used to doing these particular processes, as Kevin will.
yeah, I always pay someone because it's way too overwhelming for me. And I
Big
say that
time.
seriously, it's just the paperwork to me is daunting.
Daunting,
It might not be, but to me it is.
just another day at the office.
Bet you'll love it and find it's a wonderful place.
All right, so
Well, we live there now. This is for one of our
Okay,
kids
we
to
got one
be
more.
able to live there now.
even
also.
Jessica.
It'll be a year-round place for Ben.
All right, so items for discussion at next meeting.
Said, come on,
In 25 Worcester Road.
it was an absolute pleasure, young lady.
We don't want this process to be daunting and
No.
overwhelming and
We're gonna see if
stressful.
we can get right up and help you right along. If nothing else, we could just confuse the daylights out of you. No, just kidding.
Next meeting is Wednesday,
Thank you,
April
folks.
10th, 2024, at
I'm the
7
one that
PM.
gets frustrated when the customer gets overwhelmed.
Board of Select Chambers, second floor. Meeting will be held virtual via Zoom as well. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
8:27.
27, thank you
Can I have
very
a
much.
second?
Second,
Jim Ryan, approve.
James Gates, yes.
30 or 40%.
Kevin Smith, yes.
That's
Pat's had enough too.
Pat, you good? Yes, you said.
Yep.
Yeah, that was right there.